Good morning, good day, and good evening, wherever you are tuning in around this wonderful, beautiful globe. My name is Craig Whitney, and I'm the founder of Next Level Coaching and the Legacy Forge podcast. Today's episode. So, to start with, for the video, I have a model behind me that I will explain. For all those tuning on audio, this is an episode that I'll be going over the Arete Method. So, for ideas' sakes, if you're driving a motor vehicle or doing something that has your attention fully focused, maybe listen to it the first time through once, just listening in. Then go back in your spare time, listen to this episode again, episode 18, the Arete Method. What is the Arete method? With a notepad and pen. And I'll give specific instructions on what to do there. Take notes, key learnings, takeaways, etc. And the third time, because we always listen to things in threes, right? Anchor in, listen to it again with your full attention, not doing anything, just listening to the episode, yeah? And implement. Knowledge without action is just brain filling and wasting time, yeah? So anyway, like and subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube for the video. Alrighty, so today's episode, as I said before, I've got a model behind me. This is something new that I'm trying out for the podcast. This will work primarily for the video, so I suggest jump on over to my YouTube channel, Legacy Forge Podcast, subscribe there for any video updates. Things like this are timeless. They are the core and they are foundational to my whole framework, to my whole coaching program, to everything that I create. It all comes back to this, okay? This model. That way it's easy, it's duplicatable, replicatable, and there's no new creations. We're just building upon one foundation after another foundation after another foundation. It's like building a house on a solid concrete slab and then putting an extra floor and another floor and turning that house into a multi-level complex. However, that slab will always be there as base. Alrighty, so let's get into it, guys. So for the audio, listen up. This is your instructions. Take a pen, sheet of paper, preferably handwrite this. No devices. I strongly suggest you handwrite this. Have maybe 2 or 3 different colored pens, say a black, what have I got, blue and a red, because the subconscious mind reacts to different connotations of colors, right? Red specifically, well, we've been trained in school, the red looks like a mistake. However, we reframe that as feedback to learn from specifically, yeah? So blue, black, and red. So the first instruction here, so the video guys, you can follow along here. You've got the advantage, bit of value add. You've got a full visual of a model drawn up. So what I want you to do is draw a triangle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 layers. Yeah, looks like this on the video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this model, for reference sakes, originally was designed by Robert Dilts and has come from his model of logical levels of therapy. I've taken that along with his logical levels of learning and incorporated it into my own style. However, for reference sakes, Robert Dilts will always be my reference, yeah? He'll always be someone I go back to. He's academic that sort of gives me that left brain, evidential, sort of factual models. And a lot of my work is based on models, right? Modeling, right? Because that's how we learn and grow. We have a model, yeah? We have a model to learn from. We build a model to show us examples of blind spots, opportunities, etc., etc. It's far easier for the visual eye to look at something, a 3D model constructed. Okay, now I get it. That way the visual mind locks on and we're not just speaking to the cognitive conscious mind and doing more ridiculous conscious cognitive exercises, which only has a retention rate of about 7% if we're lucky, give or take 10% if you're super intellectual, or if you've learned to speed read like I have, you have an intellectual intake of about 30% and a rehash level of about 20%. I read books roughly 5 to 6 times all up to get notes out of, yeah? And I dissect and tear apart and dog ear and write and highlight and yeah. Alrighty, so you got that triangle drawn up. So on the left side of the triangle, I want you to take a blue pen. Be helpful if I model that. Take your blue pen, write ego on the left side, soul on the right side to start with. On the first tip of the triangle is legacy. The second layer is leadership. Third layer is identity. The fourth layer is values and beliefs. Fifth is capabilities. 6 is behaviors. And 7 is environment, right? That's with your blue pen. So once you've written that, let's explain how the Arete method works, yeah? So most traditional life coaching starts from the bottom up, right? You go to a seminar. Can you see that? Yeah. You go to a seminar, you go to a function. They've got the music pumped up loud, usually of some cinematic movie music to get the blood pumping. They change the environment, and then the speaker does some sort of activity in the moment, yeah? Changes the environment. You wouldn't get away with that in a workplace environment. They'd think you're on something. Then the speaker or the trainer changes an action or a behavior in the moment. He then teaches you something in the moment, and then may look at a value, but definitely looks at a beliefs. Such question is, what belief did you take on? Who taught you that, etc. Yeah, kick the wound, get some tears, get some awareness. Sure. Come back down here. The event goes on 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, whatever. The event ends. You come out, you're pumped, you're motivated, you're through the roof, man. You're excited. Yeah, man. Yeah. It's like the old days of going to the Amway functions or the Tony Robbins functions. You come out of those events, man. Your head's just about, and you want to go tell the world, yeah, I'm a savior to the masses. You got to come and meet Tony. You got to come to this event. Change your life for the good. Make $1 million. Go diamond. Go crown. Yeah. You go back to the workplace with that attitude, and people are like, what the fuck are you on? Really? And then a life circumstance happens, and it usually comes in the shape of a sharp stick or a needle. Now, and all this big balloon of excitement and anticipation. You're going to take over the world, and you're motivated and you're hyped up. It all gets busted, and you go back down to here, to before you went to the event. You're deflated. Your dreams destroyed. You're shattered, right? You're deflated. You're discouraged. You want to quit. You go through that fuck me moment. Yeah. What am I doing? Why am I here? This ain't for me. My job's safe. Yeah. Bit of ego talk. Yeah. 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 Who's had that? I definitely have over the years. And then a little glimmer of hope, gets you hooked on the next event, right? Next flavor speaker comes to town in the next 90 days. Same sort of vibe. Change environment, change behaviors, teach your capability, may look at a value or two, change beliefs, right? Same thing happens. The rah-rah, the music, the dance, the turn to your best friend and give them a high five, touch each other's legs, whatever, dance around like you're at a rave. Then the event ends and you go home and a big life situation happens and a big sharp stick comes along, goes pop, and you another 90 days, you're on the hamster wheel now, third event, lucky, another 8 grand, you're 30 grand in the hole. Nothing's really shifted. You just got all this nonsense you don't understand. You're confused. You're overwhelmed. And the cycle repeats and it repeats and it repeats. What do you think is driving this repetition? Because you're meeting all the same people or similar people at these events, just with different speakers doing the same work, touching the same or similar wound. Studies, and I have researched this from Harvard, even psychological APA, American Psychological Association as well. Studies do indicate if you do this type of work and you keep going back and back and over and over and over, you are 60% more likely, yes, more likely to re-traumatize yourself because you are sending messages to the body to feel like they're reliving that traumatization again and again and again. Let me repeat that. 60% of the time, more likely going to these same events over and over and over again. For the polite term, we call it awareness training. My coach, JT Foxx, calls it arousal training, right? You get people aroused and excited and sell them more bullshit, right? 60% of the time, you re-traumatize yourself. It's 1 in 4 times more worse than utilizing what they call it, rehashing hypnosis or special type of hypnosis that the CIA and FBI use to solve murders and historic crimes, where they put victims of rape, where they've witnessed serial killings and stuff like that, back through the trauma to gain evidence. You re-traumatize yourself. I was a product of that until I had this model explained to me and until I walked the model. And now I have one coach, one lead coach, and that's JT Foxx. I've got a lot of respect for that man. He's a billionaire and he's got results on the board and he's a zero bullshit type of man. And he'll call it out. He will call it out. He will break people's egos to get them here. Okay. I was once an addict to the self-help seminar bullshit. Yeah. Because once I cottoned onto this pattern, they change the environment. You spend $8,000 on a ticket to go have your environment change. You get in a room with a couple of hundred other people and they're up and down and they're dancing and carrying on like you're at a rave, right? Then you can change the behavior temporarily, right? Then you might teach them a skill or two, like a strategy, like, parts or a quick swish pattern, as they call it, NLP, or a quick hypnosis pattern, or the old sort of technique of strategies where you look at strategies and reframe into new strategies, right? Old as the hill, 1970s, first generation NLP, dinosaur age techniques. Does work a little bit, only temporary. Then they hit the beliefs, who taught you that? What's that belief? Rah, rah, I'm this, I'm that, I'm not good enough. Kick it, get some tears, right? Make them cry a bit, right? Ruffle them up and then get clarity on the next step and then upsell them. Yeah. Same thing over and over and over again. Okay. Until they go home and a life event happens, a big sharp stick, and they're back to square one. And this is what was shown to me. And I went, fuck. And I'm 100 grand in, right? I've been to Tony Robbins. I've been to some of these other rah-rah speakers and jumping up and down. And I had a funny feeling I could call bullshit. Yeah. And I did. And then I met JT Foxx and I aligned with him. I'm right. What can I do? So JT's my lead coach. I've also worked with Robert Dilts, done his programs, which is giving me the left brain sort of side of things. He taught me this model and I've simply customized it to the next level. So the first tier we start, right? First up, I don't start at the bottom. So the Arete Method is, so let me explain this. So somewhere along our life journey, we're here, right? So for those on the audio, this is a left sign of an arrow going either way between the environment and somewhere up towards our legacy. We think we're living our legacy, right? But really we're living here. Yeah. For an example of that, leadership, right? I meet a lot of managers who think they're leaders, but they're tyrants, armchair tyrants, and they run their areas like a dictatorship and yelling and screaming and they abuse their staff. That ain't leadership. Tell you now, that's not leadership. Legacy. Right. Legacy is a mismarketed word nowadays. It's misunderstood. It's a misunderstood term and it's disrespected in particularly from our greats, our ancestors. You're not living your legacy chasing money. I can tell you that for sure. Yeah. Identity is a good one. What are your habits when you're not around, or rituals? Similar to leadership, who are you when you're not around? Modeling rituals, values and beliefs. Again, I walk into a lot of organizations and I see the values blowing up on the wall. Painted up on the wall as some permanent decoration and the staff are doing a complete 180 opposite. Yeah. Capabilities is another one. You don't rise to the height of your dreams. You raise to the height of your training, right? Training. What do you need to do? Yeah. Behaviors. What behaviors do you need to change in order to get to here? Yeah. And then we look at the environment last. This is the same process I see in self-help. It's the same process I see addicts going through the cleanse, right? With the alcoholic, crack addicts, meth addicts, ice, heroin, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. So I've got a lot of respect for those organizations. They just got the pyramid around the wrong way, trying to change the environment first. So the whole key to get from here to here, we start from here, right? And we go down, right? So for those on the video, on the audio, we start on the legacy and then we walk down the pyramid, yeah? To get to our soul. Robert Dilts clearly defines the difference between ego and soul. Ego is a manager who thinks he's a leader running his organization like a tyrant, or someone who's outgrown his identity for his business or his job, or someone who's living false values as a false narrative as beliefs, yeah? Or someone who thinks they know what they're doing, but they don't. Their behaviors quickly mirror that, and you're in such a toxic environment that there's no progress or growth, yeah? Legacy. So what is legacy? This is, I'm going to use a Greek term, and it's called aetenum. That's AETERNWM, right? I'll backtrack a moment. So what is Arete Method. Now, ancient Greeks defined it as arete as living and excellence of being. Note, excellence of being. Historically, the Stoics, the Greeks, and even the Romans, when they conquered Greece, they took on a lot of the Greek mythology and philosophy and incorporated it. Excellence of being, the Roman warriors, the soldiers, the generals, the leaders. Even Julius Caesar was known as a great. He was living his legacy until corruption got to him. Marcus Aurelius, Pythagoras, Seneca, and many other Greeks. They lived a life of excellence in being. Aetonum comes in, and it's Greek for basically legacy. Mark of the immortal. Do you notice that the ancient Stoics are immortalized? Their teachings are still prevalent and as current today as they forever will be. Why? Because they've been immortalized. They have the mark of the immortal. They survived thousands of years and they still progress. They have been immortalized. That is the definition of legacy. When you and your project, your idea, your organization become marked and immortalized. Not many businesses get to 100 years. Not many organizations make it 100 years. And there's not really any organization out there who's immortalized like our Stoics. That is the definition of legacy, really. Living the off planet. Yeah, Aetonum. And then we go step into leadership. You know, some questions around legacy. What is your highest purpose? Your highest purpose. What would you die for? Yeah, that highest purpose that you will sacrifice yourself for, that you will not give up for anyone. Generally, your highest value has a lot to do with it. It certainly drives it, except we can go higher. What will you absolutely give your life for and not sacrifice? And the opposite question to that is, what needs to die for you to live that? Yeah? What needs to die for you to be living this? Pretty powerful question, isn't it? Yeah? Now we move into dominion. Dominion is leadership. Who are you when you're not around? Yeah? The great generals of the Greeks, yeah, they modeled leadership well within the ranks of their armies, that the generals could stay back and do other things, and the lower ranked officers could model the behavior. So who are you when you're not around? Is a very powerful question. The next one is identity. This one it's Greek, it's called virtus. Virtus simply means in Greek, what are your rituals when you are not around? Do your rituals carry on when you're not around? Classic example of an organization, GE, right? I've grown to become a great follower of Jack Welch and his leadership style. Highly controversial, yet very successful. Yeah. He modeled rituals of leadership well. Whenever he was not around, that standard was upheld. Yeah. That standard of excellence was modeled through habits and rituals and identity. The Welsh era identity was marked in Jack's time in GE. Then we move into values and beliefs. Now, if we've identified your highest purpose here, that's generally one of your values, your highest value right there is driving that. So that's one value. What are 4 other values that surround that? Yeah. So 5 core values. And I've got exercises to define that. I could do a quick cognitive exercise and I could do a physical somatic exercise. I prefer the somatic because I don't want anything to really do with the cognitive mind. The body has felt you all along. I'll repeat that. The body has felt your actions and consequences to get you here right now all along. The body will feel you to that next level. The body deserves to feel your values. It can't think your values. You can think till the cows come home. Thinking will not anchor them in to your body. It'll be just like another math test. Here today, do the test, see you later, and you'll forget your values in a week's time. If they are anchored well in your body, they will be remembered. And then we look at beliefs around that, yeah? And this is where I bring out the questions is, what beliefs did you take on? Who hurt you? I don't take any prisoners. I'm not interested in story. Who hurt you, if need be? Family member, ex-partner, significant other. Someone in our lives hurt us pretty bad in some cases, yeah? Compassion, yes, but I don't have the patience to sit there for 2 hours and listen to a life story. Yeah. What capabilities do you need to learn to get to here? What skills? What courses? What programs? Where do you need to upskill? Yeah. You don't rise to the levels of your dreams. You rise to the level of your training. You might have to get back to uni and do a degree. You might have to be a mature age student, go back to high school in some cases. I've met some lovely mothers who have gone back and done their year 12 because they never got the opportunity when they were younger. Although they needed their year 12 certificate, I think it's a HSC, I can't remember what they call it these days, to get to their pathway where they need to go. What capabilities do you need to learn in order to get to here? Yeah. Fine. And then down here, what behaviors need to change? Yeah. We've identified the beliefs. Yeah. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. Who hurt you? My ex-partner hurt me, my ex-husband. Okay. And that equates to your behaviors as a safety mechanism, right? So what behaviors need to change? Yeah. I don't take no prisoners, man. And I'm only giving you as a sort of a basic overview. I have a framework that I go by. It differs from person to person because no one's a cookie cutter approach, but I follow the same structure. And last off, environment. This is where I created a little audit. It was initially as a bit of a throwaway lead magnet, and it's in my collection. It's basically to audit your surroundings. What needs to change in your environment now? Not tomorrow, not next week, now. What conversations need to be had now? Is it firing a staff member, firing a CEO, kicking a housemate out, right? Breaking a relationship up, right? Cease communication with your family, right? Because they're too toxic. What actions and conversations need to happen now? That's one of the questions. What in your environment or who in your environment needs to change, and who do you need around you now? Who do you need around you now? It's generally a coach and generally better quality people. And yes, I love my family, my clients. You are my family. My viewers are my family. My Facebook groups, my family. Family is defined to me by loyalty. I got your back no matter what. I don't care where I'm at. You can call me any time of the day for those who have my number, and I'll listen to you, and if need be, I'll come and get you. That's loyalty. I just ask the exact same thing in return. And just because you're related doesn't change the loyalty fact. I've disowned my family many, many times over the years because they've become too toxic for my liking. Yeah. So that's environment. So for my audio friends listening on Apple and Spotify, you got this, right? So just a quick rundown again. 7-layer deep triangle. We start ego on the left, soul on the right, legacy at the top, leadership, identity, values and beliefs, capabilities, behaviors, and environment. All life coaching coaches from the environment first to change behavior temporarily, to update capabilities. They might teach a strategy, a values technique, a switch pattern, or whatever. It's all temporary in the moment. They may do a values exercise. More than likely, they'll look at the beliefs, because beliefs and kicking a wound is low-hanging fruit for a speaker. Yeah. Very rarely they get to identity, and then they may ask, what do you want? Which is basically, what's your goal? Why are you here? Not what's your legacy? Why are you here now is a different question than what is your highest purpose. Notice I don't use why a lot, okay? I'm not interested in why. I'm interested in what. I'm interested in shifting from the how to the why not. I had lunch not so long ago with the founder of Hungry Jack's Australia. His name's Jack Cohen. He's in his 80s. He's worth about $8 billion Australian or 5.5 billion US. Yeah. Lives at the cliffs in Sydney. You wouldn't think he's a billionaire. I got a photo with him, and he's got a pair of loafers on that have got holes in them. He looks like he's homeless, but he's a billionaire, and he lives in a humble little house at the cliffs in Sydney. He doesn't want to move house because that means he has to sort all his stuff, right? And he drives a 10-year-old Land Rover, right? Most humblest American you could ever meet. And I had the privilege of having lunch with him, one of the many people, yeah? And he quickly looked over my program, and the questions he was poking me on. He was asking me, what's the purpose of going down the how-to? Why are you becoming a how-to? What's this? And then I couldn't answer him because, okay, this is what other coaches have been doing. And he told me, as if JT hasn't kicked your ass hard enough. Shift away from the how-to to the why not. The how-to you can Google on YouTube. The how-to you can get on Udemy for, $20 a month US, or your favorite online course creator. How to become a better man you can find on Google. You may not necessarily get a program or a course that's exactly within your timeline starting ratio, but you'll get something. Yeah? Yeah? Jack Cohen challenged me to shift from the how-to, the magical 5 fucking steps of blah, 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 to why not. How-to is here. Why not is here. So for those on the audio, how-to is walking up the pyramid from environment, behaviors, capabilities, values. Then if you're lucky, you might have a look at identity. Very rarely You might get asked questions like, why are you here now? It's a different question to what's your highest purpose? What are you willing to die for? And what needs to die today in order for you to start to achieve this? Totally different questions. I can tell you that now. Yeah. We walk down. How to is ego. It's templated, cookie cutter. It's pigeonholing. We are humans. We think, act, feel differently. We cannot be put into one box. You cannot put 200 people in the same room and expect them to do the same thing at the same time. We all feel emotions differently. Yes, we all may feel the similar or same emotions, but we feel them at different times. So the cookie cutter approach, the how to, won't work at all. So Jack challenged me to shift to the why not. Identity. And once I anchored that in, I went, fuck. Right. Time to change my model slightly and shift away from the life coaches. I got nothing to do with it. Dig into JT Foxx a little bit more. He's onto something. Shift from here to here. Yeah. And so I've shifted into here. The Arete Method is I'm carrying the torch for someone else, but I've marked it in my own name because I want that long lasting change in people's lives. The 5, 10, 15 years. You shift someone's identity at a cellular level, you can get remarkable change. You can get change that goes 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, yeah? Sometimes lifetime. However, if you only get change at the surface level, you create addicts. You create people who constantly fucking say, oh, you do the work, keep doing the fucking work. Well, bro, I've been doing the work. 10 years in the self-development. And the last 3 years, I've kind of woken up and gone, fuck this. I'm no better than a crack addict. I'm just addicted to information. Yeah? How to shift from here to here. Soul. Why not? That's right. Soul. Once you shift into your soul, you feel it in your bones. It's not surface level on hype, and I'm not pushing myself to perform on stage. I'm not acting. I'm living. I'm not a paid jester on stage. I'm living my legacy. That's right. So that, my friends, is the Arete Method as a whole. Now, what I'll do, we'll go deeper, hey? I started this on my Facebook group and I never finished it because I kind of fell off the wheel with other things. However, I'll go back and finish it. But for the podcast's sakes, we'll break each layer down and I'll do a layer a day. How's that sound, yeah? And then we'll dig a little deeper, 20 to 30-minute episodes, whatever. And I'll go through what each layer means, yeah? Alrighty, guys. That's it for me this evening. My voice is spent. Yeah? Like and subscribe. This was purely done up in the mere moments of my mind. There was no planning. There was no scripting. 22nd of December, I've just come off a 16-hour day. I'm pretty well tanked, yeah? So like and subscribe. Find me on Apple and Spotify for the audio and YouTube for the video, guys. I look forward to doing more episodes. It'll be a mixture of solo and interview style with guests, leaders who share their legacy from their soul. Yeah, I'm not interested in jesters. I'm not interested in fucking clowns. We've already got a dog and pony show leading our country. It's about time we actually found some men and women with spine, heart, and balls to stand up and lead and model. Yeah, alrighty. That's it for me for now. Follow me on Facebook, Craig Whitney. Add My Next Level Coaching on Instagram, TikTok, Legacy Forge podcast on YouTube. Let's connect. Let's have a conversation. Alrighty, guys. I'm out of here. Bye for now.